learners, greetings of the day. Today's session is on timeline reconstruction and artifacts correlation. In this session, we focus on timeline reconstruction and artifacts correlation, which is where digital forensics moves from technical analysis to storytelling backed by evidences. Up to now, we have studied individual artifacts like files, registries, entries, logs, browser data. Timeline reconstruction brings all of this together to answer one simple question: what happened? In what order? And who was responsible? Courts do not want raw artifacts. They want clear chronological narrative supported by facts. So it's time I give you a walkthrough on the objectives of today's session. By the end of the session, you should be able to explain what a forensic timeline is, identify different timestamp sources, correlate multiple artifacts, detect inconsistency, and present a defensible timeline for legal purposes. These skills are essential for any investigator involving fraud, insider threats, malware incidents, and cybercrime. So let's start with why timeline reconstruction matters. Digital evidences is meaningless without context. A deleted file alone proves nothing. A USB inserted alone proves nothing. But when we place events in line, patterns emerge. Timelines help establish intent, opportunities, and sequence of actions. Many cases are won or lost not on the presence of evidences, but on even events occurred relatively to each other. So let's start with what is forensic timeline. A forensic timeline is a chronological arrangement of systems and user events derived from multiple data sources. It combines file system activities, registry changes, logs, application usages, and external device interaction. The goal is not to list everything, but to reconstruct meaningful behavior. So our next topic is the sources of timeline data. Timeline data comes from many places: file systems, timestamp, registry keys, event logs, browser histories, emails, metadata, USB artifacts, and application logs, many data. Each sources has strengths and weaknesses. So, single source is ever sufficient on its own? No, it is not. So, our next topic will tell us how. File system timestamps. Most files stores multiple timestamps, typically creation time, modification time, access time, metadata change time. These timestamps helps identify when these files were created, edited, opened, or altered. However, timestamps can be modified intentionally or unintentionally, so they must be interpreted carefully. Next topic is about the registry timestamps. Registry key also contains timestamps indicating the last modification. These timestamps are extremely useful for identifying configuration challenges, program execution, device insertions, and user activities. Registry timestamp often survives even when files are deleted, making them valuable collaboration evidences. Our next topic is log-based artifacts. Systems log, security logs, application log records discrete events such as login, failures, program crash, and service executions. Logs are time sequenced by nature, making them ideal for timeline reconstruction. However, logs may roll over or be deleted, which itself can indicate anti-forensic behavior. So, our next topic is user activity artifacts. Artifacts like browser history, recent documents, shortcuts, and prefetch data reveals how user interaction must with the system. These artifacts help bridge the gap between system level events and human actions. They are critical for attributions. In our next topic, we're going to talk about the external device timelines. USB and external device artifacts record insertion time, removal time, and usage history. When correlated with the file access timestamp, they can prove data exploration or exfiltration or unauthorized copying. This is especially important in insider threat investigations. Next is our artifacts correlation concepts. Artifact correlation means comparing multiple independent artifacts to configure the same event. For example, a program execution may appear in registry key, prefetch files, and event logs. When multiple artifacts point to a same conclusion, confidence increase significantly. It's time we understand the difference between correlation and assumptions. A common mistake is assuming caution from a single artifact. Correlation requires supporting evidences from different sources. Forensics conclusion must be based on convergence, not speculations. It's important we understand the building of timeline step by step. So, the first step is to collect all the relevant artifacts. Second, normalizing timestamps to a common timeline zone. Third, filter noise and irrelevant system activities. Fourth, aligned event chronologically. And finally, interpret patterns and anomalies. This is the entire step for the timelines. Next is the time zone and clock issues. System clocks may be incorrect. Time zone may change. Daylight saving adjustments can disorder timelines. Investigators must always document time settings and account for discrepancy during reconstruction. In our next topic, we're going to deal with missing or altered data. Not all artifacts must be present. Some may be overwritten, deleted, or manipulated. In such cases, investigators rely on secondary artifacts and infer behavior cautiously. Gap is timeline must be acknowledged, not hidden. In our next topic, we are going to talk about the detecting anti-forensic behavior. Timeline gaps, sudden timestamp resets, or log clearing events can indicate anti-forensic attempts. Ironically, efforts to hide activities often create their own detachable traces. Recognizing these patterns strengthens investigators' conclusion. Our next topic is about timeline visualization. Timelines are often visualized using charts or event sequences. Visualized timeline helps investigator and the courts understanding complex sequence quickly. Clarity is more important than technical detail when presenting timelines. Now, it's important for us to understand the validation of timelines. Timelines must be validated through cross verification. Each critical event should be supported by more than one artifact whenever possible. Validations ensure timelines are reliable, repeatable, and defensible. It's time we focus on the legal perspective on the timelines. Courts value timelines because they explain behavior logically. However, investigators must clearly explain how timelines were built and what assumptions were made. Transparency is essential for admissibility. Now, let me just take you through the case study. In this case, suspected data theft occurred within a short time window. Multiple artifacts were analyzed to reconstruct the sequence of evidences and events. How do we analyze this case study? Registry USB entry shows data insertion. File system timestamps shows file accessed shortly after. System logs confirmed user login during the same period. The correlation timeline established unintentional data transfer. It's time we focus on the common mistakes in timeline reconstruction that a investigator might do. Rely on single artifacts, ignoring time zone issues, overloading timelines with irrelevant noise, falling and failing to document assumptions. These mistakes weaken the forensic conclusions. It's time we talk about the tools for timeline reconstruction. Timeline tools assist of parsing and sorting artifacts. However, tools do not replace analytical thinking. Investigator must always understand what the tools is showing and why. Now we talk about the future threats. Future timeline will incorporate cloud activities, mobile device synchronizations, and AI assisted correlations. As systems become more complex, timeline reconstruction will become even more central to investigation. It's time we summarize our today's session. Timeline reconstruction transforms scattered artifacts into a coherent story. Artifacts correlation strengthens reliability and credibility. Strong timelines support intent, attribution, and legal admissibility. This skills represents the highest level of forensic analyst. Thank you.